And then they feel audacious enough to like treat us terribly because of the way we think. It's like, well, no, I know all about black people now. That's not how it's supposed to be. I don't think there's anything you can really do.
You go back to what we did originally when the slaves were first freed. And we had to change the mindset of people about Black America, especially in the South, and during Jim Crow too.
Yeah.
And there was two, and I'm sure you guys have read this history because you guys are good, well-learned Black history, Black Americans, Black conservatives. But there was the Booker T. Washington School of Thought. Yeah. And then there was the W.E. Yeah, exactly. W.E. Du Bois. And Booker T. Washington was all about showing white America that Black America can make it without their help, that we're respectable citizens, that you guys can accept us into society because we're respectable. We can contribute. And people like George Washington Carver, I have a lesson on him in my school, Exodus Institute. He did more for race relations in that time than almost any other Black American. And all he would do is he would go to these, and they actually hired him to do this. He would go to these speaking engagements in the South that were full of white, good old boy types. And he would, instead of talking about, oh, this is what you guys need to do for Black America or whatever, he would just go in and he would share about his experiments and he would share his character and he would just talk about, science. And he had this way of talking about nature and science that just made you love God's creation. And it would start with the audience being like, who's this Black guy who know it all, to the end, standing ovation. It was little short, sweet, kind-hearted, and it did so much for race relations. And so there is something to be said about, just earning respect as just good human beings and good contributors to society, and that's just not happening right now.
It's not. Yes. Even Debbie Downer a little bit. That picture you just painted about what was happening with George Washington Carver to the white audience, actually for the past, I don't know how many years now, at least a decade, has been happening for the leftist audience, where the Black speaker is standing before the white audience and saying, this is the trial, this is our victimhood. And and then they've sent them out with marching orders of the Black experience. And then what happens is little old, now in the know, white American meets Brandon and Darren. And then they feel audacious enough to like treat us terribly because of the way we think. It's like, well, no, I know all about Black people now. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
You're not supposed to say these things. I've heard it.